வடிவேல் சார் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடலாமா?
ஒரு 5 minutes சார்.
ஜாயின் பண்றவங்க பாட்டுக்கு பொறுமையா வந்து ஜாயின் பண்ணிக்குவாங்க.
அப்படிங்களா? ஒரு இன்னொரு 2 to 3 minutes பார்த்துட்டு இது பண்ணிடலாம் சார்.
வடிவேல் சார், குட் ஈவினிங் சார்.
சார் குட் ஈவினிங் சார். ஆனந்த் சார்.
எஸ் சார்.
நீங்க வெல்கம் பண்ணிடுங்க சார். நான் இன்ட்ரடக்ஷன் கொடுக்குறேன் சார். சங்கர் சார்.
எஸ் சார்.
ஓகே சார், வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க சார். ஆனந்த் சார்.
ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடலாமா சார்?
ஆ.
Very good evening, all of you. On behalf of the management, principal, vice principal, head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and all the staff, staff and students of Department of Mechanical Engineering, I welcome everyone to this lecture, guest lecture, to be given by Mr. Shankar Tirunavukarasu on the topic recent trends in automobile industries. Okay, I welcome all of you to this August gathering. Mr. Shankar Tirunavukarasu is a BE MBA, who is a Deputy Manager, Powertrain Engine Department of Renault Nissan Technology and Business Center India Private Limited, Chennai, who is going to give us an excellent overview about the recent trends in automobile industries. We are very eager to hear you, sir. We welcome you to this guest lecture. Now I request Mr. Vadivelu to take over and introduce the chief guest. Thank you all.
Thank you, Anand sir. So, good evening to one and all present in this guest lecture session. I am very much happy to introduce today's chief guest, Mr. Shankar Tirunavukarasu sir, BE MBA, Deputy Manager, Powertrain Engine Department, Renault Nissan Technology and Business Center India Private Limited. So, Shankar Tirunavukarasu sir completed Diploma Production, BE Mechanical and MBA. He has a lot of years experience in product development of automotive powertrain components. He is a responsible person for technical design and development in Renault Nissan for Nissan gasoline engine 1.0L turbo components. So, namely valve train components and turbo parts. So, previously he served as a project function leader in between the period 2016 to 2019 in same Renault Nissan gasoline engines. He also worked as a design engineer in the year 2013 to 2015 for making the design in 3D and 2D drawings. I requested to Mr. Shankar Tirunavukarasu sir to take over the session to give the valuable guest lecture. Sir, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hope you can see my screen. Yes.
Yeah, sir. Sir, is it,
Okay.
it is visible, sir?
Okay. Thank you. Good evening. First of all, sorry for this late connection. In the late evening, which is also on Saturday. So I will try to complete at the earliest, which I want to communicate in terms of the recent trend in the automobile industry. Before starting the session, just would like to give two hints. Where we are going to see is in terms of the major overview, in terms of the automotive industry, where it is looking to travel actually. So in another 32 years. Second is okay. So from this session, I would like to take the note. So why we need to look for these trends and what will be the benefit for from this session. So please have a thought during all the session. So what is the output we are going to take from this the session? Like so what is the trend is going on and how we need to focus, where need to focus, and what could be the where we need to focus in terms of the education or learning, and how we can improve our skills depends upon the industry where it is leading. Okay, so without any further delay, we'll start. So here the 5 trends I have categorized and the trends in terms of the 5 category, where I can say it's the EASCY, so SK, where the automotive industry, where the transformation is going on. Okay, so moving to next slide. So SK is nothing but E means electrified, A means autonomous, and S means shared, and C means connected, and E means yearly updated. So these are the 5 areas where the automotive industry is, even in day-to-day and in year-wise, are the 10-year strategy, or everything is the focus. So we will see what exactly the electrified, autonomous, shared, connected, and yearly update. So electrified, where we are, the complete industry is transforming from IC engines to electrification. So where this is due to the several, where we can focus this complete slide, we are focusing this as the main topic, which is electrified, which is the major in terms of the mechanical point of view. The remaining, you can see it's based on all the departments it's included. So we will focus mainly on the electrifications in the further slide. And second is autonomous. Autonomous, it's okay. I'm not interested to read all these things. So in short, autonomous, where vehicle is drive itself without any human intervention. So vehicle doesn't need any human to operate. So vehicle itself, it can operate and it can go wherever it wants, depends upon the inputs from the human. So this is the future where automotive industry is focusing along with the other tech industries. So third one is the shared one. The future is the interest of the people is changing. They are not interested to have a own vehicle, and they want as a shared one. So as you know, it's Ola, Uber, the major industry which is running for the shared vehicles. And the next one is connected. So connected is it can be a car to car, or human to car, or human to connect with the world. So the difference between autonomous and the connected is the autonomous, where vehicle itself, it can be drive, okay, without any human intervention. But the connected is nothing but the human needs to be connected to the outside world, where he need to surf in the internet, or he need to connect it to the work from home, similar to work from car. Everything can happen from the connected. So this is the difference between the autonomous and connected, where car can connect to the world, or human can connect to the world from the car. The last one is the yearly update, where trend is changing each 6 months or 1 year. From the launch of the car, it becomes old. So they are the people are expecting each day the change in their requirement. So the industry also is changing, depends upon the customer requirement. So these are the 5 areas, and where we are going to focus more on the further is electrified. So electrified, the IC engines to zero emissions, where they are saying, but actually it's not the zero emission, where battery also need some emission, will emit to the environment, of course, but it's very drastic reduction compared to IC engines. So everybody is focusing the electrification of the vehicle. So this drive is changing due to the three point of view, I can say. One is the government point of view, and second is we can say the manufacturer's point of view, which is the original equipment OEM point of view, and the third one is what is the customer point of view for this electrification change. So government is, okay, I will move next slide. So first we can see what is from the government point of view. So you know the trend will be changed from, you can see this is the graph, x-axis is years and y-axis is number of sales in million. So where we are today in 2021 or 2022 beginning, so you can see this is the spread between the IC engines, hybrid, plug-in, hybrid, electric, and fuel cells vehicles. So you can see clearly when the years further coming years, the conventional engines, which is IC engines, it will drastically will reduce, and which will lead to change in hybrid, plug-in hybrid, electric, and fuel cells vehicles. So in another, if you say 2040, it's nearly IC engine is no more. The second graph you can see again the global annual passenger vehicle sales. In real time also this graph shows it's true, because the conventional IC engines the sales is drastically changing to the remaining technology, upcoming technology of hybrid, plug-in, and fuel cells. So this is also the same in terms of the driven passenger vehicles by drive train, which is a powertrain, where vehicle is powered through IC engine or electric or fuel cells or hybrid, etc. So the trend is, you can see the crossover, which will happen in 2000, close to 2038, where the sales becomes equal, neutral between IC engines and electric vehicles. And electric vehicles will have the, it will pick up the volume and it will reduce the IC engine. So, from government point of view, this change is mandatory. As you know, the BS norms from 4 to 5, with 5 to 6 it should be happen, but they skipped 5 directly and they switched to Bharat 6 from Bharat 4, mainly because of the two concerns. One is they want to, India or Asia want to be not to be dependent on the oil import, because our Indian economy is completely based on the oil dependency as of today. So this government doesn't like to have continue on this. So they want to change the oil import dependency, which will also drive the all the automotive trends to change their powertrain to which the technology which will not have the oil dependency. So you can see the trends. So each year the oil import is increasing drastically, and you can see this is a CAGR, which is a compound annual growth rate between China and India. So this also gradually increasing, where we are buying the millions of barrels per day. So from 2000, it's you can say India it's 2.3 million barrels, but 2040 it will go to 9.7 million barrels. So as I told, our complete life cycles nowadays it depends on oil. So where the oil price is increased, petrol, diesel, fuel price increase, which will impact our day-to-day life in terms of food products or any electric products or whatever the products which we are going to buy, which will have the impact some percentage in the depends upon the oil. So this is government who doesn't need to like to continue. So this is one of the factors. Second is the global air quality. So based on the latest results, world most polluted cities, out of 15 cities, 13 cities from India. So this is very which no one would like to have whatever we are breathing. It's not a good quality of the air. So this also government doesn't like. So this also needs to be changed, because this is a very huge number in terms of the result. So you can see the greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so government is declared in few years back in the Paris Agreement, where they committed to reduce the CO2, which is greenhouse gas emission. So this graph you can see the x-axis years and y-axis is in terms of the CO2 gigatons values. So you can see this, if we are not controlling today, so what will happen in another 30 or 40 years? So you can see the temperature increase in the from 4.1 to 4.8 degree increase in the normal temperature, which is very huge. So if not only India, so all the countries is committed in the Paris Agreement to reduce the CO2 emission. So you can see based on the Paris pledges. So this is the current policy. So if you are going by the current policy like BS6 emission, Euro 6 emissions norm, so it can predict around 2100. So the temperature increase are from 2.8 to 2 degrees centigrade. So in Paris, based on the Paris Agreement, it will have 2.5 to 2.8 degrees. So India is committed around 30 to 35% reductions compared to 2005 levels in terms of the CO2 in 2030. So this needs to be accelerated because we have so many issues as of now. So due to the two oil dependency and the air quality reasons, the government is forcing to change the trend. Second is the OEM point of view, which is the manufacturing point of view. So now government is forcing to change from Euro BS6 norms. So BS6 norms, it has a two stage 1 and stage 2. So stage 2, actually we need to be in this range. So in this graph, the x-axis is the weight of the average weight of the vehicle, and y-axis is the CO2 emission gram per kilometer. So as of now, all the OEMs you can see they are falling between 2017 to 2018. This is the emission specification, and we are within the limit of the government specification. But 2022 to 2023, which is the Bureau's Bharat 6 stage 2 norm, so none of the OEMs is within this specification. So all the OEMs has to forcefully needs to change to reduce the CO2 below this level. So you can see average itself where it is lying, which is much higher than the specification limit. So now all the OEM is focusing to change the trend either through like the spread of IC instead of IC engines like LPG, CNG, or electric or hybrid vehicles. So all the OEMs is focusing to reduce the CO2 to meet the BS6 stage 2 norm. So this it's EV share. Again, it's duplication. So I'm skipping this as of now. So this is one slide for the manufacturing point of view. So where we are changing now. So OEMs where they are focusing to change are they would like to spread their sales vehicles, not only IC engines where they can have all the type of vehicles. So IC engines where we have a very huge history, around more than 100 years we have evolved in the IC engines, but now we have to forcefully need to move to the other technology. So the first technology is the flexible fuels, where the CNG, LPG kind of vehicle. Then the second is the hybrid vehicles, where we can have the two drivetrains, either through IC engines or battery or LPG or CNG. So the hybrid of two technologies. Then plug-in hybrid. This is the next to the hybrid. I will in next slide will differentiate between hybrid, plug-in hybrid, etc. So next is all electric vehicles, completely electric vehicles. Of course, there one more technology which is hydrogen fuel cell, which is also developing in parallel in terms of the passenger segment. So this is a very basic technology explanation. What is the okay? What is hybrid, plug-in hybrid, battery electric, etc. So you know what is IC engine? It's very basic and it's very well known to everyone. Second is the hybrid vehicle. So what is here I have shown only the hybrid with the electric. Then we will have the IC engine. Also the electric motor which can drive. But the input is only through petrol. So where the electric motor has to regenerate the power from the vehicle itself, it cannot be powered through outside in the hybrid vehicle. But the plug-in hybrid, where we can have similar to hybrid vehicle, but we can have oil also like gasoline or diesel. Also, we can charge the battery. So this is also one of the recent emerging technologies, which I hope we can see in coming years with all the OEMs in this plug-in hybrid technology, where we can have the mileage of the vehicle also it's increasing to the notable number. Then it is a complete electric vehicle where we have only the charging station and electric motor is running the vehicle. Of course, the fuel cells also where we can have the hydrogen fuel tank to drive the vehicle. But fuel cell technology compared to the passenger vehicle segment and its commercial segment, it's quite high compared to the today's numbers in terms of sales. So to the next station, okay. So for the electrification, the key parameter, the key technology is the battery. So as of today, what we have is the lithium-ion battery. It's a very known technology as of today with all the OEMs. So where they have, these are all the types of the tanks they are using for their vehicles, which is lithium iron phosphate, lithium nickel cobalt aluminum, and lithium nickel manganese cobalt manganese oxide, lithium titan, lithium magnesium, lithium cobalt. So I can say one of the very R&D is happening in battery technology, where everybody is focusing to increase their kilometer range, and all the R&D is going on in the battery technology. So the current is the lithium ion. Of course, we have nickel metal hybrid, lead acid battery, ultra capacitor, and Zebra zero emission batteries research activities. So which is going on in all the areas, but in recent times, the lithium ion is known, and all the R&D is happening in lithium ion, of course, with other kind of materials. So you can see from this chart, so lithium ion have comparatively better in terms of easy access, energy efficient, temperature performance, weight, life cycle compared to nickel metal, lead acid, and ultra capacitor batteries. So this is one of the reasons where all the OEMs is focusing the lithium ion battery. Okay, so batteries, for example, it's a bulk. If it is 100 watt bulk, if it runs for 1 hour, it will consume 0.1 kilowatt. Similar to this is annual energy consumption of household. So which is as of now today we can say 3,100 kilowatt per year. Similarly, how much it will take to charge a car in a complete electric vehicle? It's around 2,000 kilowatt per year. So this is showing, as I told, so this is the kilometer range which all the OEMs to increase through the battery technology. So here is data from I can say Nissan portal. So you can see it's the beginning of the technology. So beginning of the first generation Leaf vehicle, where we have the lithium ion battery with the magnesium and sorry, the nickel. You can see it's the 4-shell module where we have the very limited space in terms of the battery, which has a 24 kilowatt. So the vehicle kilometers depends upon the battery kilowatt. So where we have, I can say it's if it is a 24 kilowatt, it's around 200 kilometer range in 2010. Then the second generation Leaf, which has a 40 kilowatt. So where instead of 4-cell module, it becomes 8-cell module, which has double the kilowatt from 24 to 40 kilowatt. So in today's, it's E plus, Leaf E plus has 62 kilowatt, which the battery it can be designed according to the requirement. We can customize the battery cell module to meet our the kilowatt requirement. So, yes, in beginning of the 2010, we can cover the 2000 kilometer range with the 24 kilowatt. But you can see as of in 10 years, we have changed to 62 kilowatt, which can now cover 570 kilometers per recharge. So this is according to the WLTC cycle, where it's the common throughout the global. It's a worldwide light vehicle test cycle. This is common throughout the global. Yes. Of course, the battery similar to current IC engines, where we don't have, especially in India kind of countries, we don't have recirculation or monitoring of the expired vehicles. But it cannot be the case for the electric, because government also is forcing to have to monitor the vehicle life cycle. So when I say the life cycle, it cannot be end to the customer when it is sold. It has to be followed after that as well. So there are four R technology, 4R principle, I can say, like reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover. So these are all the 4 areas where it is happening, the recycling of the batteries. So you can see direct recycling once it is end of the life of the car. So where we can the split up of the batteries, where we can through direct recycling or hydrometallurgy or from the pyrometallurgy. So these are 3 things where we can split up the batteries and at the end of the life and recycle, reuse, reduce the consumption. So these are all also the I can say the recent companies are evolving for battery technology alone and recycling or reuse conditions. Okay, so these are all the things in the major OEM point of view where the technology is strength. And as I said in the beginning of the electrified slide, this last slide is for the customer point of view. So how customer is benefit when the change from IC engine to electrification. So you can see this is IC engines, comparable combustion car, and this is electrified car. So this is running cost alone. Okay, so where you can see the split up by insurance, wear and tear, maintenance, vehicle tax, and consumption, the fuel consumption. So it took around 230 euro per month for the IC engine car, where electric car will took 160 euro per month. So this is the benefit of the customer point of view. We have to spend only the less cost in terms of the running per kilometer of the vehicle. But quite frank, of course, we need to spend higher money during the purchase of the car compared to the IC engine. So where the study is nothing but the total cost ownership, that includes the vehicle depreciation as well. So if you see along with the vehicle depreciation also, this is the highlighted. It's only for the passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles in terms of the car segment. To be frank, as of today, you can see the so the exact is the TCO. TCO is the total consumption, total cost of the ownership per kilometer, which includes the depreciation of the vehicle as well. So diesel car, petrol car, CNG car, this is sedan commercial vehicles where it takes 4.23, 4.49 and 3.1. But e-car, you can see the electrification, which it takes 3.59. So it is lesser than diesel and petrol, but it is quite, it's little higher than the CNG car. If you see the private vehicles, this is a commercial one, this is the private one. So if you compare the private one, compared to current today's diesel, petrol, or petrol and diesel cars, e-car is little bit higher. The electrification total cost is higher today. So this shows in terms of the total cost of the ownership. Of course, it's I can say it's equivalent to the diesel and petrol. But running cost is we have the margin in the running cost. So all the OEMs is focusing to reduce the cost, total cost of ownership also. So I hope definitely this will become increased. The number of the sales will become better and better. Okay, so with this we are completing the electrification in terms of the three point of view, or like government, OEM and customer point of view. So as I told beginning, so further autonomous shared or connected early update. So it has all the departments which includes not only mechanical, it's the majority is IT as well for the autonomous technology. So I'm going through what is the major what is going on in autonomous. Okay, so in autonomous, according to SAE level, we have the 5 levels where 0 to 5 is the ranking. 0 is no automation and 5 is the complete automation. And we can say we are in a partial automation level. We are in a SAE 2 level. So we can see 0 to 1 and 2 where we have the human driver, and some of the driving modes will take autonomous. But if you see 3, 4, 5, so the driving mode itself through the system itself, there is no human driver. And 3 and 4, you can say in case of the fallback performance, humans can take over the control from the vehicle and humans can drive the vehicle. So where the 5 is the rank level where complete the vehicle itself will take over all the complete system. So there is no intervention of the human. So this is the SAE level, and I can say we are around. Okay. So second slide of autonomous vehicle. So you can say based on this table, who are all the car makers is focusing in autonomous and what they did till today from 2016 and 2018 and 2019. So Waymo is one of the division from Google, as you know. So Waymo is I can say the leading technology driven in the autonomous vehicle. So they have tested the total distance is traveled around 6 lakh miles without any human intervention in the driving mode. So it was increased in 2018 to 1,27,000, and 2019 it's around 1,43,000. is around 2 lakh, 23 lakh kilometers. So of course, all the way up, you can see BMW, Nissan, Kia, so Tesla, all the way they are focusing on the autonomous vehicle, and they are testing their autonomous vehicles in a testing track where they can run and confirm the vehicle their durability and the safety point of view. So with this, moving to shared, the third one. So shared, as I told, it can have 5 different kind of sharing. So like as you are well aware of round trip, one way, or free floating by conventional companies, peer to peer from one area to another area, and the fractional ownership. So these are the 5 areas where the shared vehicles based on the requirement. And you can see in 2018 data worldwide sharing. So the major developing cities, they are looking already, which have huge numbers in terms of the shared vehicle. So you know the major in India, Ola, Uber, Zoom car, where we can take the self-driven car. So these are all the companies which is focusing for the shared vehicle compared to the private ownership vehicle. So this is also which will change in coming drastic because everybody is looking not to have a own vehicle where we need to spend time for sales, service, running cars, all these things. So everybody is looking to change the shared vehicles instead of having the own passenger vehicle. So this is the small graph. So here it's vehicle ownership, and here is vehicle driver. So shared also, which has relation to autonomous vehicles and connected vehicles. So as of today, we are private owner vehicles with the human-driven cars. So this will change to in this location where it is shared with complete autonomous vehicles. So this can change autonomous with private vehicles, and can go to self the shared vehicle, and finally to autonomous shared vehicles where you can the vehicle itself will be driven by its own, and you can book the car based on your needs from the application. Okay, so the fourth one is the connected one. Connect. So as I initially told, connected can happen between car to car, or human to car, or human to the world. These are the 5 technologies in the connected cars, which is as of today all the way working. One is C2V, it's a vehicle to vehicle, as I told, it's a car to car, the control, where one car can understand the other car's need, or where exactly the location, where exactly the distance between the 2 cars, etc. So the car can connect to the nearby car so that it can control and it can move further based on the direction. And vehicle to pedestrian. So this is road to pedestrian. I can the connectivity between the road and vehicle to the pedestrian. And this is vehicle to the network where it needs the cloud control, where it can the Google Maps, the map control, etc. And V2I, vehicle to the infrastructure, where it is detecting the traffic signal and so it's infrastructure point of view. And the one more is human can connect to the world based on the internet for the purpose of shop or any official or personal work. So these are the 5 areas where it is connected cars. It's focusing. Okay, so with this, the last one I'm not focused much as, but it's because it will change frequently, which is yearly update. As I told, this is 6 months once the customer requirements is changing, so all the OEMs is launching their vehicles with the new lift-up model. I can say like they are launching some specific limited edition, special edition, etc. So such kind of things is happening, but in the yearly update based on the customer needs. Okay, so with this overall, these are all the 5 areas where we are the automotive trends evolving in terms of the recent years and focusing in another 40 or 100 years. Okay, so thank you so much. I hope this session is still, I hope it's little bit meaningful in terms of where need to focus in terms of the students or other professors' point of view. So how needs to be is what are the areas where we can improve the skill. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
What do you, sir? Is it okay? Or in
Yes. Wait.
if any queries, I hope.
Okay. Any queries? Please ask to chief guest.
No, sir.
Sorry, it's very late evening. Of course, if you have any doubts, you can reach me through Mr. Odivil.
Sir, good evening, sir. Very nice, informative session. Just I wanted to know about electric vehicles, how far it will take in India with respect to electric vehicles commissioning, at least with respect to two-wheelers, because now at present, even the Ola and Tatas, they are planning to go for two-wheelers. Of course, four-wheelers also in future will come, but what is your opinion, how the charging with respect to batteries, how many kilometers it will run? So can you throw some light on it?
Okay, first I will comment on your two-wheelers point of view. Yes, two-wheelers compared to the passenger vehicles, two-wheelers its trend is quickly changing, and of course, definitely it will before the passenger vehicle adoption, the two-wheeler trend will completely become changed. And recently, Ola is set up their electric vehicle two-wheeler plant in near to Hosur. So it's changing drastically in two-wheeler vehicle, two-wheelers. Definitely, I can say in 5 or 10 years, definitely the two-wheeler become the leader in terms of the electric two-wheeler. In terms of the passenger vehicle, to be frank, and for the India point of view, there are so many hurdles today in terms of the OEM point of view and government point of view, because the infrastructure is very less, and government has to focus and support in terms of the infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, is for the charging station, battery production, because as of today battery production we have to depend on some other countries where we don't have in India the lithium as a raw material. So again we need to depend on some other countries, and we need to plant a massive plant for the batteries. And government has to create an infrastructure for the charging station, etc. So you can see already I can say Europe, Japan, and America, they are switching drastically on the electric. and definitely they will become in 2030 and 2040 they will switch over from around in terms of the sales they will reach around 10 to 20 percentage they will reach they will switch to electric vehicles. But when I say in India, to be frank, in 2030 or 2040, I'm not expecting the drastic change unless the government has taken initiative to support the OEM in terms of the infrastructure. But I can say all the OEMs today they have the technology, and you can see they have as of today itself they have around 5,070 kilometer range of the batteries, where it is sufficient enough to run from you can say Chennai to at least Tirunelveli thing. So we can connect completely one part of Tamil Nadu to other part of Tamil Nadu. So, but only the issue is the infrastructure where they have focused. The second one, as I told, when the running cost is it's less, but when you go for the TCO cost, which is the total cost of the ownership, it is quite equivalent to our current today's scenario. So this is one of the area where customer would not like to go for the electric because they need to spend more money at the initial of the buying and less money for the running cost. But when they calculate the overall, it becomes quite equivalent. So OEMs has to reduce the TCO cost with the supportive in terms of the sales number. But I'm sure this will happen in coming years. So in 2040 and 2050, I'm sure we will reach the Europe level of 2030.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any queries? Anand sir. Okay, sir. Shankar sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your valuable guest lecture regarding the recent trends in automobile industry, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. What do you say?
Okay, sir. Wind up the session, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.